Hi guys, welcome to day 12 of our 12 Days of Pilates challenge. Today is the final full body flow. So whether you've been doing it at your own pace, whether you've been doing it with me, jumping around, either way, thank you so much for participating. It's been so much fun for me and I really enjoyed it. We are going to get moving, but if you want to stick around at the end, we can kind of have a little quick chat about what is to come in the new year. I'm very excited. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. We are going to be starting in our supine position, beginning with our bent knee openings, just to get ourselves grounded. So our arms are down at our sides, the insides of our feet and knees are touching one another. We're going to start by just dropping that right knee to the side, letting the right foot roll onto its side. And inhale to bring it back up. Exhale as we drop that knee. And inhale to bring it up. And I encourage you, since this particular exercise doesn't have a lot of choreography, to close your eyes, really focus on connecting your breath, really focus on how the movement feels. We're keeping all of our body nice and quiet. That movement is just that femur bone in the socket. We're just getting ourselves grounded out of our heads and onto the mat, into our bodies. Let's go ahead and do the left side now. And maybe your breath falls into a different pattern. I encourage you to play around with breath. As long as you're breathing, there is no right or wrong way to do it. You can also notice if one side feels different than the other. Our bodies are not symmetrical, even though we like to think they are. Now let's go ahead and drop both knees, allowing both feet to roll onto the sides. As we sync our breath, do a body scan and just see if there's any places you're holding tension. I hold a lot in my shoulders personally. Let's hold it open. Let's just do some little tiny pulses here. Go ahead and return those knees back to the top. Let's bring our arms out a bit more straight. You can play around with how much support you need. You can either keep your legs in a tabletop or you can extend them straight up. And if you have a little bit of a bend, that is totally fine. We're going to take our right hand here. We're going to curl ourselves up. We're going to touch that left foot, lowering our right leg. Let's do the alternating side, alternate side. Just nice and gentle. We're taking our gaze with us as we rotate. You can keep one foot on the ground as you need. Please always modify. We're starting to wake up our spine, our core, our hips. So we're exhaling up. We're rolling down. We're not crunching. One more time each side. And go ahead and grab the tops of your knees and let's just draw some circles here. You can let your hips raise, really massage that tailbone out. And then when you're ready, you can go ahead, point those toes back up. I'm just going to point and flex. Point and flex. And notice if you're like me and have very tight hamstrings, that flex, you'll really feel that. This is the same position, just a different orientation when we sit up nice and tall to do our spine stretch or spine twist or saw. Surprisingly, that was what was most difficult for me in Pilates, is sitting up nice and straight. My hamstrings are so tight, my ankle flexion is so poor, but we're working on it. All right, let's go ahead. Lower those feet, draw some femur circles again. If you can't tell, the pace of this full body is just nice and gentle. We're not in a hurry. We've had 12 long days. All right, and the final time, I promise, straight up. We want our shoulder blades to be heavy on the mat. If you need to do this with your feet on the mat in a supine position or in tabletop, please do so. But again, we want our shoulder blades to stay on the mat as we slowly drop both legs to one side. And when you feel that shoulder blade start to come up, you don't need to drop quite as low. Just make that range of movement a little smaller. One more time each side. All right, let's go ahead. Draw femur circles one more time. Massage that tailbone out. Really don't be afraid to move that spine or those hips when you're doing this. And then go ahead and come onto your side here. Going to use our bottom arm as a pillow. Our bottom leg is going to have a nice little bend here. We're going to hover this leg up. We're going to do some bicycling motions. So I want you to extend that leg back as far as you can. You should feel a stretch here, but we don't want that lower back to move backwards. We want to keep our spine nice and quiet. So you probably aren't going to be able to extend your leg back that far. Then go ahead and draw that heel towards your butt. You'll probably feel it in your knee. And bring it up and extend. So it's not a super big motion if we're keeping that back still. Getting some nice hip extension, some nice knee flexion, all the things. You might notice that your core is slightly engaged. Now let's hold it here and let's reverse. Remembering to breathe. Let's go ahead and extend that leg back out and do some leg circles so we can have some slight external rotation here. So the top of my foot is no longer straight forward. It is now kind of angled upwards. I'm just going to draw some circles with our toes. And really pay attention to what that lower back is doing. It's easy to want to hinge forward there. Let's reverse. Reaching up. We're going nice and slow, not relying on momentum to move for us. Last one. Let's go ahead and bring the insides of our feet together. We're going to do some elevated clams here. So you can go ahead and place your hand on your hip bone just for some tactile feedback here. We're just going to open and close our knees. You notice this is very similar to what we started with, the bent knee opening, just again in a different orientation. Two, one. All right. Let's go ahead and come onto our stomachs here. We're going to be up on our forearms. Our gaze, we want not to be looking straight ahead because you can see my neck is not in line with our spine. So we are going to be looking ahead of our mat here. And I just want you to pick up that right foot. Again, my rights and lefts are so difficult for me. Go ahead and flex through that heel. We're going to kick, kick, point to lower. And let's stay on that right side. So we're going to kick, kick, point to lower. And it's not a very hard kick. You're more just drawing that knee towards your backside. Point to lower. Let's stay nice and lifted up in our shoulders. We don't want to sag. We don't want our neck to be annoyed with us later. Let's go ahead and switch. So again, we're flexing, kick, kick, point to lower. Kick, kick, point to lower. Don't worry so much about the tempo. I'd rather you just feel it in your own body rather than worry about matching me. Again, checking in with our gaze, checking in with our shoulders. Last one here. Now we're going to do the double leg kick here. So your face is going to be on the mat facing me. We are going to clasp our hands together on our back. We're just going to start by inhaling, opening that chest, taking our gaze towards the top of the mat, and exhaling and lowering to the other cheek. And we'll add the kicking in a second, but let's just get this part first. We're gonna inhale, open that chest, gaze is at the top of the mat, and exhale and rotate to the other side. So now as we do this, we're going to add the feet in. So we're going to flex, we're going to kick, kick, kick. And as we point to lower, inhale, draw those arms back towards your feet, raising our gaze. Exhale, kick, 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 point to lower. One more time each side. All right, let's go ahead and push ourselves up. We are going to come onto our other side. I'm going to turn this way so you guys can see me. For our side lying series on the opposite side. So again, we're resting on this arm. Our bottom leg is slightly bent here. And start with our bicycles. Let's go ahead and point those toes. And we're going to hinge that leg backwards. You're going to feel a nice stretch there, but our lower back is nice and quiet. We're going to draw that foot towards our backside. We're going to bring that knee forward and extend. I'm going to hit the tree every time. And this is something that I personally always feel in my knees, that fluid motion is not so fluid in the knees. So knee flexion is something that is really important to work on. Let's hold it here, and now let's reverse. And notice the breathing pattern that your body naturally falls into. Last time. All right, let's do our leg circles here. I'm going to draw, again, having that slight external rotation. It's all right if your hips make some clicks and pops as long as there's no pain. You never want to work through pain. All right, let's reverse. Two more. Last one. All right, let's do our elevated clams here. And we're just opening and closing that knee. Making sure that that back is staying nice and quiet, trying to keep our feet lifted. If you need to keep your feet on the mat and just do regular clams, that's totally fine. Four, three, two, and one. All right, great job, guys. Let's come on to our backs here. We're going to do the neck pull, which is very similar to the roll up. So as we've done in other videos, if you prefer to do the modified roll up, you prefer to just do a roll up, that's totally fine. We're going to interlace our hands behind our head, our elbows are in our peripheral. Big inhale, and as we exhale, we're rolling our head, neck, shoulders, and trunk forward into a nice spine stretch here. Hold it here, take a big inhale, open that chest, raise our gaze to be just above our feet. We're going to hinge backwards until we can't hold it any longer, and then we're going to let that pelvis tilt and unwind. So it is slightly different. Big inhale and exhale into our spine stretch. Inhale to shine that chest forward. Our gaze is over our toes. Hinge backwards and release. Let's do one more. Inhale. Release. All right, great job, guys. Let's go ahead and grab just behind our elbows here. I'm about to fall off my mat. Come up to a nice little seated position. We are going to do kind of a modified teaser. So if you want to balance between your sits bones, bring your feet up into a tabletop position. Our arms are going to be nice and straight. We're just going to begin by tapping our feet, alternating, syncing our breath as usual. Really keeping a nice open chest. Our gaze is nice and in line. Let's add in the arms now if you're able. So alternate arm with alternate leg. Two more. All right, go ahead and come to the edge of the mat. I'm gonna do some rolling like a ball. So go ahead and balance on those sits bones again. We are clasping our wrists. I want you to have, I don't know why I said wrist like that, wrist with the T. Go ahead and have a nice little curled back here. And inhale, come onto the shoulder blades. Exhale, come up to sitting. Shine that chest forward and try not to let those feet touch the ground. So nice inhale. Last one. Oh, perfect timing. He had to make his very special appearance. Go ahead and extend your legs out. We're going to do a nice little spine twist here. So I want you to envision a string at the top of your head. And as you inhale, someone is pulling on that string, lengthening that spine, arms out to the side. Take a nice breath. As we exhale, we're going to rotate, keeping our lower half of our body still. Come back to center. Let's go the opposite way, taking our gaze with us. All right, let's go ahead and end here with a little mermaid. So let's get in a Z-sit position. Now have our hand down at our side, reach our opposite hand up and over. Really fanning those ribs open if you think of one of those paper fans. Down to the center, and over to the opposite side. Let's switch sides. Excuse me. So we have our hand on the mat. We're going up and over. Just drop that elbow so we can get a nice stretch at the ribs. Hoping. Let's go into the opposite side. All right, and that concludes it. That concludes our 12 days of Pilates challenge. Again, thank you so much, guys. No matter when you did this or what order you did it, it was so much fun for me to create this and share it. And if you're not following the Upchurch Pilates Instagram page, that is where I keep all of the upcoming stuff, updates, tips, all sorts of stuff, because we are going to be having a new kind of format, more organized format for the month of January. Then February, we will probably do some fun challenges. I'm thinking about February being all about form for beginners. I love alliteration. You will learn how much I love alliteration. But yeah, so there's a whole bunch of exciting things to come. I hope that this gave you some nice movement in between the holidays. I think I'm going to do one more full body flow before the end of the year. But if I don't see you before then I hope you have a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a happy and healthy New Year.